Hi, this is Sunday, the 24th of October, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Democratic Alliance Labour Report. We're looking at the Labour of the past week and we're giving some report back, so thank you very much for coming in. In essence, we are reporting to you now exactly 1 week before the elections, which will be held on Monday, the 1st of November, 2021. Please come out and make your mark. It's important for you to make your mark and, in essence, to show that you support a party, the Democratic Alliance, that takes jobs very seriously. And the reality is that in the Western Province, it's the only province which is showing job growth. And you can see this from all the reports, from the quarterly reviews. These are independent reports showing that the job growth is there in the Western Province. So really, one would want to ensure that more and more people find their way into work. I'm going to be talking about the city councillors, the reports about city councillors not being computer literate around the country, not so much in the Western Province. I'm going to give you a report on that. I'll give you a report on NUMSA and their 6% wage settlement and the tragedy of trade unions using their workers as cannon fodder. I'm going to look at the death of a farm worker. That's also important because it might have been a situation the worker wasn't registered. And then we're going to look at the jabs again, when the universities are now calling for the inoculation for the COVID-19 before staff come back to work. And then finally, there's been an issue around about a race-specific applicant for a home, a tenancy, and where that employee was dismissed. So thank you for tuning in. It's Michael Bagram, the Labour spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance. It's Sunday, the 24th of October, 2021. And like I said, city councillors, we are very careful in the Democratic Alliance to ensure that city councillors are properly appointed. We look very carefully. There's a proper assessment of city councillors, and we look very carefully at the city councillors before we actually propose them as candidates for the election. Now, they are in fact employed at the end of the day. Once they are appointed, they're employed by the municipalities and they get their salaries from the municipalities. And so it's absolutely vital that a political party very carefully assesses each and every single city councillor so as to ensure that they are fit for purpose. Now, fit for purpose is a common phrase, but in essence, you want to know that your city councillor is computer literate. Now, there was an assessment done by SALGA, the South African Local Government Association, across the country, and they said almost 60% of the city councillors weren't computer literate. Now, I know in the Democratic Alliance, we very carefully assess our candidates to make sure that they are computer literate and that they are going to deliver. Every now and again, someone falls through the cracks and they don't deliver in accordance with your wishes, but we keep trying and keep getting better. And the figures of that survey show that the Western Province has come out tops again for this. I'm pleased to report that we've chosen city councillors and put them forward. You'll see them on all the lampposts from the Democratic Alliance who are computer literate, who are willing to work and are able. They are fit for purpose. So it's very important to do that. Of course, what this translates into as well is that for employers in the future, when they're employing people, be very careful how you do it. Make sure that when you employ people, that you have a proper assessment of them, that you have a proper job description, that you go through an onboarding process, you interview them, you can even record it, you get them also to sign off that they're able to do the job, that they have the qualifications, do all that. But be very careful that you don't discriminate against anyone for any arbitrary ground that you would discriminate people on. You must be very careful because that will lead you into the CCMA and it could lead you into negative reports. So within the Democratic Alliance, we are more than willing to assist any employer out there with what the law actually is in terms of appointment. In terms of our Labour Relations Act, you must understand that an applicant for a job has the same rights as an employee. So they can come to the CCMA, that's the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration, a department of the Employment uh, Department, and they can then claim that they've been unfairly discriminated. So we've been advising many employers over the past few years as to how you do the recruitment properly. We also do suggest that you consider going to recruitment agencies who know the law and understand it, and you would then be able to appoint people properly without the risk of going to the CCMA. The next issue, of course, is the NUMSA, who has accepted the 6% wages. This is sad. I'll tell you why. And we've been watching it very carefully. We've been trying to advise from the Democratic Alliance. That 6% was offered about 10 days ago by CIFSA, the employers' organization, and the workers were used as cannon fodder. And I don't think it's fair. People didn't get their salary while they were at home. Many people, and I've spoken to a few, have had to go to loan sharks to get money to be able to put food on the table of their families. The unions don't have strike funds. And because they don't have strike funds, that people need to go out and borrow money, and then you'll end up paying double back to the loan shark, and then you're in trouble altogether. It can take years to pay back all of the loans that you have because you hadn't earned for 5 weeks. So again, we think it's wrong of the trade unions. The issue of the farm worker has been reported. A farm worker died in an accident. It could be negligence, it could be gross negligence. There's going to be an investigation. But within the Democratic Alliance, we've been advising people all the time, make sure that every single worker has a work permit. Make sure that every single worker is registered with Compensation Fund, registered with the UIF, with the Department of Employment and Labour, and so that no fingers can be pointed thereafter if there was a problem, if there is a problem arising out of this. So please look at this very carefully. The death of a farm worker is a tragedy under all circumstances, but it's a lot worse if the paperwork is not in order and that the family is not properly secure thereafter, and this could be a problem in this particular case. I also alluded to the fact that the universities have all now come on board and said that their staff have to be inoculated for the COVID-19, and they've put it into place for the next year. Again, the Democratic Alliance is saying that the regulations do allow employers to make it compulsory. There are certain regulations and certain ways of doing this, and there's certain hurdles that you have to overcome to do it properly. And again, the Democratic Alliance has been advising hundreds of businesses. I've been advising hundreds of businesses as to what you have to do. How do you navigate your inoculation policy, your COVID-19 policy very carefully? And we've had a look at it as a party, and we are willing to, more than willing to help people, at least give some oral advice on this. Then the issue about the race-specific people who had said that they're prepared to rent their house out, but to only specific races. How this becomes a labor issue is that the agent, the estate agent, then went and said exactly that to the future tenant. It's race specific, sorry, we can't help you. One would expect that an agent, an employee, would not just take what a client says. If a client's asking you to do something illegal, do not do it. Your job is at risk, and in fact it's immoral. And we within the Democratic Alliance have been advising for years, since the inception of the party, that race is not an issue. It should never be an issue. And if you're going to get someone insisting on making race specific, turn that down, turn it away, and walk away from it. So thank you once again for listening to me. It's Michael Bagram. I'm the Labour spokesman for the Democratic Alliance.